This series is intended for mature audiences. We insist you heed the following content warnings before viewing. Horror themes, language, adult themes, and strong violence and gore, including gun violence. Welcome to the Weird West. Let us tell y'all a story.
We start this chapter with Archie and Raul. The two of you find yourselves on horseback, heading south with this temporary badge of authority. An officer under the sheriff's request. Your saddlebags jingle with the silver dollars that he's paid you up front, with more promised once you figure out what the hell that Crossroads station employee was rambling on about. Follow the river. You've had quite a scenic trek so far. The sun is positioned just after noon in a cloudless sky, and you can feel the sweat in your, the collar of your shirt and the ankle of your boots, and you've had some time to change and get cleaned up before you left. So go ahead and tell us, what does Archie look like right now, coming out of the situation he has just come out of?
So is this like the next day?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, previous to the incident last night, he was quite well kept and quite clean, but now he's a little bit, there's a few dirt marks where he's been crawling under the house. You know, sort of the front of his suit's now a bit sort of dusty and a bit sort of smeared. And I think he probably's picked up a little bit of a crack in his glasses. A few scuffs. His fingernails are probably a little bit dirty now, although, you know, he was he's still got his stiff upper lip and still going. You know, sort of. It's all fine. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. But yeah, maybe his hair's a little bit less well kept than it was. But I mean, on the whole, it's sort of all in the line of discovering the unknown.
I'll say Raul pretty much looks the same as when you first met him. Not quite one for keeping his hair well kept or anything like that. He has changed his clothes though. He made sure to have nice, fresh, super expensive everything going on from head to toe. And the two of you are riding south, and he just kind of glances back for a second and just looks forward, and he just says, "I hope Roan's gonna be okay."
Yes, I mean, they took one hell of a rough and tumble with that thing.
He just agrees.
Quite. I dare say it was a little bit close for us all, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, you see him almost like zone out for a second as he's just thinking of what the three of you encountered last night, and you continue on. After a little while, you come across what looks like a convoy of some sort. You see covered wagons in a half circle up ahead. There's some sort of campfire, not lit, but you see a pretty decently sized campfire that seems to just be a permanent fix right now. A couple heads turn as they hear the horses approaching, and you see one of the people just kind of raise their hands and kind of wave you over.
Okay. Archie will have a look at Raul and then sort of go, sort of return the way. Go, hello.
Yeah, and Raul would say something along the lines of, just keep in mind what we're here to do. We can see what these fellows want. And yeah, you walk forward. You see, as you're getting closer, 3 men, all dressed in somewhat nice attire, a little dirty, like they've probably been out here for a while. Glancing around at the little campsite as you're coming up, though, you see enough sleeping bags for probably 8 people, and you don't see any other people around. You do hear, you're pretty sure you hear someone in one of the covered wagons rummaging through some things, but you can only see 3 people currently. The man that seems to have waved you over has his hands on his hips as you're approaching, and you see a revolver on both sides. His face is covered in scruff, as if he's usually clean shaven. He's just probably been out here a few days and hasn't been able to take care of it like he usually does. You see another man hugging a rifle, casually, just in his arms, leaning back against the wagon with his dark hair flowing down almost to his shoulders. You see the third man digging into the back of the wagon, bald head, double-barrel shotgun on his hip, strapped to this just huge thigh. They all kind of glance over at you as you're approaching, and the one that waved you over, he's got a smile on his face, and he says, "What business you got heading this way, friends?"
Oh, first things first. Archie would extend his hand. Archibald Flashheart, Fenton West. Pleased to meet you. You are.
He nods and he reaches up and does shake your hand, but he doesn't introduce himself. He just pulls his hand back, and he just repeats, "What business?" And he looks over at Raul, and Raul just kind of shrugs and he says, "Well, we're just making our way south."
Yes, yes, we're just on, a little bit of duties for official business, I suppose.
And as you say that, Raul taps his little badge that he has, and
Archie, remember, he's got one as well. And go, oh, yeah. Yes.
It's this badge. Yeah. He nods and he says, "Well, I'm sorry to say we can't let you do that. See, we're on our way south, and we can't let you be there when we conclude our business."
I mean, geography isn't my strong suit, but I'm sure there's enough south for us all.
You see the other man with the rifle laughs, and then the guy looks back at him and he kind of stops laughing and just looks away. The man puts one hand on his gun now, eyeing both you and Raul, and he says, "You could head home and forget you saw any of this." And at those words, the one with the rifle kind of looks over to him and says, "The deal was no witnesses." And the guy looks kind of annoyed, and he looks back and he says, "Well, loudmouth over here spoiled the ending." At this point, the fourth member comes out from the back of the wagon. Alex, if you would like to describe yourself.
What you see coming out of the wagon is a pretty rough and tumble looking individual. Got blonde hair, slicked back, about mid-length, mostly matted down with sweat and dirt. A little bit of blood. Got an old duster on, torn many places, raggedy, covered in dubious stains. Wearing a white undershirt underneath it. Looks like it ain't been white in a long time. He's got a pistol on his hip, a rifle slung over his back. Kind of looking a little worse for wear.
All right, and he steps out. His boots slam down on the ground, and the four of them are looking over at you. You and Raul are looking at them, and you see the man just pull the pistol. Still hold it at like hip fire. And you see at that point, Raul just kind of reaches back to grab for his rifle, and the man just raises up the gun. And at this point, you just see guns drawn from all sides. Raul quickly pulls the rifle over. The other man aims his rifle. 2 guns are out. The bald man pulls the shotgun from his thigh. Everybody's just aiming guns at each other. What are the 2 of you doing?
Archie sort of, before as this was building up, is sort of trying to think where best to put his hands. Sort of on his hips. No, that's arms crossed. No, not quite. And then when all the guns come out, he's sort of like, okay.
I'm gonna
Start
hold
holding
out
up your
a
fist.
hand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold out a hand and just, whoa. In case y'all forgot, what's in the back of this here wagon might not be the best idea to go firing off willy-nilly. Perhaps we'd best calm down and have a conversation.
Yes, I agree with that gentleman over there.
And as you say that, Archie, and you kind of nod towards this new gentleman, Raul kind of looks over, and there's this squint for a moment as he's just looking at you, and he says, "Wait a minute. Don't I know you from somewhere?" And at this point, the man that seems to be the boss of the operation just kind of glances back at you like, "Do you know him from somewhere?"
I look him up and down and take a moment. Gideon Gray, I think we handled a little bit of business together a good while ago. Raul, right?
And he nods, and at this point, he seems to relax just a little bit, but he does still have the rifle aimed at the leader, like the man in charge. And he seems more confused than anything at this point. Like, he knows the business the 2 of you had, and then now this situation, and he just kind of looks over at the cart, and he's like, "What do you have in the back of the cart?"
Things that'll go boom. Loud things. Things might not react too well to a bullet. Listen, friends, I know I'm new here, but I know this one, and I'd rather not see him get filled full of holes, him nor his companion. And frankly, I'm a little more concerned about the likelihood of me walking away here with all my limbs intact if a stray bullet catches the back of this here wagon. Why don't we calm down?
The bald man with the shotgun kind of nods and puts his shotgun away. The other 2, you see them just starting to take steps away from the wagon, guns still aimed. Like, they're like, "Yeah, you make a good point there, Gideon. Maybe we should do this away from the wagon, but the orders were no witnesses. We can't let anybody know we were out here."
Yeah, that's fair, but you see, this one's a friend.
At this point,
Go ahead. If I could interject, I have no idea who any of you are, so.
One of them kind of nods and, "Hey, looks like you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time, buddy." The one with the revolver kind of turns to you, Gideon, and he says, "You know what? You're right. This is your friend. It's only right you're the one that does it."
I'm gonna draw, and I'm just gonna hold the pistol down, and I'm gonna turn to face him full.
To
You really
face
want to go there? To
face
face the man
him?
who just spoke. You really want to go there right now, friend?
He now moves one pistol over to you, holding one towards Raul and the other to you, and he says, "Do you really want to go here? You're standing awfully close to that dynamite."
I'll take us all. Turn around, point the pistol at the dynamite.
His eyes, he looks a little nervous, and you see him still taking a few steps away from the cart. And the man with the rifle's like, "Okay, hold on. What the fuck are we doing?" And he just looks over at the other man. He's like, "Look, we have our orders. What do you think is gonna happen to us if we don't do this? Like, we're dead regardless. So we take care of these guys. We take care of you, apparently. And then we get out of here."
I have a reaction to that statement.
What is it?
I put a bullet in him.
Make a shooting roll.
Alright, so if I'm understanding correctly, a shooting roll, I'm using the D8 listed by my gun, the Colt Peacemaker, correct?
Yeah, you'll use your D8, but you'll roll a D6 with it as well, and you'll take whichever one is higher.
Well, I'll take the 8.
So that exploded, so roll that 8 again.
That's a 1.
Alright, so 9. Okay, roll damage for that weapon.
That's 2d6 plus 1. That's gonna be 10 plus 1, that's 11 damage.
Okay. Alright, so, as he says that, he looks back to you and you just fire. Archie, you're watching as this kind of standoff is happening. You're just standing over, like, okay, I don't know any of you, just kind of taking a few steps back. And as the gun fires, you see it slam into basically like almost the eye socket of this man and spray out the back. The man, his arm's still out for a second. He just falls over, stiff as a board, slams into the sand. And as soon as this happens, now we're gonna draw some action cards.
Oh, good lord.
One less to worry about, not that big a deal.
All right, so here is Archie's.
Oh, okay.
Gideon's. Oh.
Ooh.
All right,
That's
so the Joker means you get to go whenever you want.
Nice.
You can interrupt someone's turn. You can just go whenever you want, and you all get a Benny.
Very cool. So 4 bennies.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go immediately and go
All
ahead
right.
and put around in the next guy.
And then this is my turn. So go ahead and keep that. All right, so you're gonna go right off the bat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does Raul get a go?
Yeah, I'll draw separately.
Oh, no, it's just
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll draw separately for them and Raul.
That's a 6.
Okay. So I spent a Benny for Raul, and I got this. So just so we're aware. All right. So you're I assume aiming towards the one with the rifle.
Yeah.
All right. And that is a 6. So yeah, roll damage for that.
That's double 6s. Plus
Double.
1.
ooh.
So that explodes as well.
Oh. Do I roll them both again?
Yeah.
Oh man, that could be nasty. Double 3s.
Okay. Wow. All right. So you fire, and then you just immediately turn to the one with the rifle. Fire. Tell me how that looks with that much damage. Like, you tell me.
Am I firing 2 rounds or just 1 at that point? I guess 1, right? Just
One, yeah, yeah.
So it's just this kind of quick little instantaneous motion. Soon as the other guy hits the ground, there's a bullet already in the air. Flies right through center of brain. Just paint the rock behind him a nice shade of pink and red.
Nice. Sprays out, and I'm assuming you're just turning straight towards the man with the shotgun at this point.
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, but yes.
All right, turn, aim your gun that direction. Raul would be next, keeping his horse steady while also bringing up his rifle and aiming it at the man with the shotgun as well. And he's going to go ahead and hold for, he's just going to aim and wait, and he will fire if the man reaches for his shotgun. And then Archie is up.
Okay. Yes, Archie's getting a little bit panicked because everything's kicking off, as it were. So he's sort of like, ooh, and he will look down and pick up the first thing that he will see on his saddlebag.
Okay.
And he has a he thinks, oh, this might be useful. Has a crowbar.
Okay.
And he will just try and throw it at the nearest person who seems like an enemy.
Okay, yeah, the only one that you think is probably still an enemy is that guy with the shotgun. Go ahead and make an athletics roll for that. Or a fighting. Okay. If you have fighting, I'll let you use fighting as well.
No, I do not have fighting.
Okay, athletics will work then.
Okay, so with the D6 as well. Yeah? So
yes.
A D4 and a D6, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
I got a 2 and a 1.
I think that's
about
excellent.
Right. I let go of it, it goes behind me.
Just lands like right in front of your horse. Just flat on the ground. Raul kind of slow turn, looks over at you for a moment.
Even Gideon's gonna like slowly just be like, "Are you serious?
Are you serious?" This guy now, he has his hand right by his shotgun on his hip that he had put away, but he sees both guns aimed at him, and he is, I mean, his eyes are going from Gideon to Raul to Gideon to Raul, and he takes a step back and another step back. He's actually stepping closer to the dynamite carts. And he has one hand up and one hand still by his gun. And he's like, all right, everybody just needs to calm the fuck down. And he's just backing up towards the carts. Once he gets to where his back kind of touches the cart, he does tighten his fingers around the gun. And he is slowly pulling that sawed off up. Raul brings up the gun and just sits there hesitating for a moment. We'll say we won't draw more action cards. We'll just say, what's everyone's intent? What are you doing as this new standoff is happening? He is raising up his shotgun and he is up against this cart full of dynamite.
I'd like to talk him down if possible.
Archie, are you doing anything?
I think you're standing next to the...
Raul hops down from the horse. He hops down from the horse and still has his rifle up, and he's just taking a couple steps away from the horse, keeping just a dead eye on, like, basically dead center of this man. He just has his sawed off at like hip fire length, just looking at Raul and Gideon, kind of glancing over at you, but you're not really too threatening at the moment. So he's just looking to the other two, and he says, all right, look, We can forget all of it. You can go on your merry way. I'm gonna finish my job. Yeah?
By yourself? You're gonna do a 4-man job by yourself?
What choice did you leave me, Gideon?
I mean, I didn't leave no one no choices. They fired first. Sorry, drew first. I guess I fired first, but... If you'd like, I can fire first again. Or you can just walk off. Get on your horse and go.
He thinks about this for a moment. You see him look over at the cart. Look over at the dead bodies on the ground. He looks at Raul.
Right through the eye, friend. Right through the eye.
He nods. He seems to be accepting defeat. And he says, yeah, I guess the odds of finishing this job alone are pretty low. There was no witnesses, and he turns and he fires at the cart behind him. Just fires the shotgun, but just you just hear it blast out. And there's this moment, you hear a couple pops inside, and then you hear the sound of fuses, and just, and then the cart just starts exploding off in various. I'll have both of you. Well, how are you trying to evade this explosion?
You want to go first, Archie?
Oh, he will be probably just turning the horse as best he can and sort of trying to get away. Gallop away from the horse. He's not using the horse as shield.
I was like, that poor horse, man.
Just sort of like, whoa, quick, over here, sort of thing.
All right. So I'm gonna have you make a riding roll.
Okay.
What is Gideon doing?
I'm gonna pull a classic move and grab one of them there bodies and hide under it.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. Do you have a survival skill?
I sure don't.
All right, then I will have you just make an agility roll to see how quickly that can be done.
I can definitely do that. Still adding a d6?
Yes.
All right. That's a 4.
Okay.
I don't actually have a riding skill.
Okay.
So I'm going unskilled.
Yeah.
And
so,
I've rolled a 4 on the d4.
so that
and
explodes.
1, but I've still got -2 at the end of it. Is that
Yeah.
right?
So the
Right,
4
okay.
will explode, and then you'll subtract
then-
2 to your
okay,
total.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another 4
Oh,
and a 2, so 8.
nice. Okay. Nice. All right. So, Raul, you see as the man turns and just fires into this cart, Raul immediately turns towards his horse, hops up for one foot in the wrong stirrup, that's it, standing at the side of the horse, and just smacks the horse and is trying to go that way. Rolled a 5, so Raul is good. Starts just galloping off. It's not pretty, but it's getting away. And you just immediately turn your horse around and just slam, and it's sprinting forward. Gideon just hits the ground, grabs, I'm gonna say both bodies, and just pulls them up over him. This explosion, you hear, it just keeps going. It's almost like fireworks, like 1 explosion, 2, 3, 4. You hear things flying everywhere. The horses are terrified and they just start sprinting on their own. Raul's holding on for dear life at this point, and as the horses are sprinting, you see debris just falling. You just see little pieces of the cart. And then eventually the explosions stop and your ears, especially Gideon's ears, are just ringing. I will say, after a couple of minutes, everything falls silent once again. The horses are huffing. Raul is able to actually climb up onto his horse. He just looks over at you, Archie, and he says, "Are you okay?"
I think so. Yes.
The two of you-
everything seems to be attached.
You glance back at the scene and you see nobody. You see it's just flat. Whatever carts were there before are gone. There's no evidence of sleeping bags. Everything is
Smoldering heap.
gone. And then you see just two bodies be pushed up, and a Gideon is standing up out of the leftovers.
I'll just scrape off casually some of the nasty bits. That wasn't pleasant.
No. Are you okay?
I mean, yeah, I guess. You all right? You kind of seemed like you were a little nervous back there, perhaps.
Yes. Yes. This is all quite terrifying.
I appreciate what you tried to do with the crowbar. I do.
Yes. It seemed to be the best thing at the time, but
Sure. Yeah, I mean, makes sense. You ain't got a gun?
no.
Yeah.
I was thinking if there's any lying around. I mean,
You should.
did any of the guns survive?
Probably take a gun.
Yeah. Yes. This is the second encounter within sort of the last 24 hours where having a gun would have been quite advantageous.
Are you new here?
Yes. I'm
Yeah,
from Britain.
That's not a
yes.
surprise.
No.
I'm gonna kick over the corpses real quick and see if either of them's got a gun that survived.
Unfortunately, both of the corpses' guns are probably not in functional condition. You can go check. One of the sleeping bags, had like a spare pistol shoved inside of it. I'll have you roll a d6 to see if that's in there or not.
Yeah. That's a 5.
Yeah. So you do find a gun in there, and it's in working condition. We'll say it is a. So I'll say you have a peacemaker.
Ooh, okay.
It's 2d6 plus 1 damage, and it has 6 shots before you can reload, or before you have to reload.
6 shots.
I'll hand you the gun by the barrel.
Yes.
And as you go to take it, I'll hold it tight and just do me a favor and watch where you aim that thing. Never.
No. Yes.
Yeah.
Got that.
Yeah. Just making sure. I mean, the crowbar kind of.
Yes. Understandable. Understandable. Your caution.
I haven't had a chance to properly introduce myself. My name's Gideon.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Archibald Flashheart Fenton West at your service. Most people call me Archie because it's less of a mouthful.
Yeah, Archie, that's a good one. I'd shake your hand, but I got a lot of viscera on mine.
Oh, understood. No problem.
Archie, Raul gets off the horse and walks over to the campfire that is now lit, and he goes over and sits down, and he just starts enjoying some rations that he has in his pocket. He's like, I think it was about time for a break anyhow. And he just sits and starts snacking.
Yeah, I guess I'm fired.
Yes,
What
I don't
were
think
you-
you'd be getting a letter of recommendation from commentation.
What job were you doing anyway?
You know, honestly, Ro, I'm not even too sure. I just got hired on not too long ago, actually, and they stuck me on this job and basically just told me not to ask questions. Then they stuck me in the back of that wagon and had me bundling up dynamite. I wasn't told shit. But if I had to reckon a guess, we was probably about to go blow something up.
Sounds plausible with that much dynamite.
Unlikely it was legal work.
sure.
He offers you some jerky.
Yeah, I'll take some, thank you. I'd
Archie
kill for some
would-
coffee.
I don't think I've got. Have a look on the boat. On his boat, on his horse.
Same difference.
Yes, land boat.
Land boat.
It'll sort of see if he's got any supplies or anything that he can use to make some sort of warm beverage. Maybe some tea from back home or something.
I will say out of everyone, you probably have tea.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, you could easily get some out, start brewing it up for people.
Hell yeah.
The key is to not let it just let it brew the right amount of time. Too long, it gets a bit strong, and too little, and you may as well not bother. It's just water. So,
Yeah,
and it sort of goes along. Get a good pace of stir.
I'll trust you to handle that. I'm not familiar. It smells good. I'm just not familiar with it.
No, it's supposed to be good for the vitals. It sort of gives you.
Yeah, I think I'm a little covered on the vitals right now. I still can't get them all off of me.
Yes. Instantly, you've got something just on your shoulder there. I'm not quite sure
that's
what
bad.
it is, but yeah.
I think that might be an appendix.
Ooh.
And there's just the sound of just sipping tea from Raul. He says, well, we were tasked with heading south. We're looking for some crossroads of some sort. Some crazy worker said, what was it that he said? And he looks over to Archie.
He said some. It was something about Crossroads.
Something about a crossroads. Something about I don't know. He was rambling. It was with his last breath. He was bleeding. He was dying. He said something about a train.
Yeah, whoa, wait. I believe that I was supposed to be heading towards a train as well.
Ooh. Maybe there wasn't enough south for the whole of us. Then so
I'm
we
gonna
headed to
glance
the same
over
bit?
at Raul and just be like, seems to me last time we got together we stood to make quite a good bit of change. Now, I may not be the smartest man, but kind of smelling a little bit like maybe there's some money on the air.
He sits there for a moment thinking. So were you tasked with blowing up this train?
I'm starting to figure that maybe that was it. Maybe, is there a bridge nearby? Does it go over anything? Any line of exposed track? I don't know.
Maybe we'd know more when we see the crossroads.
Well, I mean, seeing as I'm out of work and, quite frankly, probably about to be a wanted man to some degree, I'd take that ride with you if you'd have a third.
I mean, you seem a very upstanding fellow. You're quite handy with them 6 shooters.
Yeah, we just saw you kill 2 men in a second, so better to have you on our side than against us, I think.
Pa always said best way to win a fight was to kill him first.
That would make sense.
Can't argue with that, yeah. And he just goes back to his tea. The 3 of you sit there. It's an odd scene because you're sitting there around this campfire in the middle of the day, having tea and jerky. One of you is just covered in blood, and there are 2 just shredded dead bodies laying beside you, with maybe a few remnants of a cart.
Stir my tea with a finger that came off of my coat.
So you sit there for a while, you enjoy your cup of tea, you've had a little bit of lunch, and you eventually head back, hop on your horses. Raul holds out an arm to let you climb up onto the back of his horse.
I guess none of their horses are alive anymore. Damn. Gotta ride second saddle.
Were you gonna say?
Yeah, could Archie find a functional holster? Because he's
Honestly,
if not, he'll just put the gun in his pocket. But...
Honestly, I think Raul would probably have something like that. So I would say, yeah, he would just he'd be like, oh, this.
Because Archie's just going to be walking around holding this pistol.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Raul would have something like that. So he'd get you fixed up with it before you head off. So you saddle up, start heading south again. You hear just the wind in the distance. You see quite a ways out, there's some storm clouds that seem to be kind of rolling in. You'll probably meet them once you get a little further south, but they're not coming towards you. Just keep heading that direction. You're still following the river, and after you've been traveling for maybe I don't know, a couple hours, 2-3 hours, you do come across a few horses tied to a tree over by the river. Gideon, you recognize these horses, and you can all hear just some voices down closer to the river.
I'm gonna tap Raul on the shoulder and say, might as well draw.
At this point, Archie hasn't noticed really, and it's just going, well, it's a lovely vista, isn't it? It's a really nice view over there.
Are you wanting to stay on the horses or hop off?
I'm gonna hop off and draw my Winchester.
Okay, yeah, Raul will probably hop off as well, draw his rifle, and then as Archie's just looking off at the water, Raul just says, Archie, gun. And
okay, right, we're off. Okay, get down and sort of...
Yeah, they're part of the crew, so I expect they're gonna be a little ornery when I show up without the rest.
And then Raul kind of nods to the horses and is like, man, we grab one of them.
My thoughts exactly.
And as you get a little bit closer, it kind of goes down into a bit of a ditch before the river itself starts. And you see 4 men, pant legs rolled up basically to their knees, kind of standing partially in the river, and it looks like they have some nets in their hand and they're just trying to catch some fish. You see a bucket with a few fish thrown in already, but you see them sunburned already just from standing out here all afternoon.
I mean, they clearly need to be stood downstream to the fish. I mean, it's ridiculous.
They do not seem to notice you.
I'm gonna nod my head to Raul and gesture that we should spread out and control a little portion of this here ridge. Do the same to Archie. Once they've moved, if they move, I'll lay my rifle down and whistle to get their attention.
Okay.
All right. So to get in position, I will have everyone make a stealth roll.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, I have that. Hell yeah.
It's all right. It's not very good, but amazingly, I got a 4 again on a D4 and a 3. Wow.
I got a 6 total.
5. Do I add the D6 or not? Sorry, do I need to add the? Oh right, so 5.
Well, you don't add them together. You don't add them together.
So
you
five.
just use
Five.
one or the other.
Right.
So I failed my first roll for Raul, but I spent a Benny. And my second one exploded, so we're okay.
Awesome.
I do.
All right, so you all spread out. Tell me how you want to be positioned here.
I mean, ideally, I want to spread out in such a way that it couldn't just be a quick rapid fire session where they fire off some random shots and take all three of us in one round. So, assuming we're in some sort of formation walking as is, I figure Raul will take off to the left side about 20 yards and Archie take off to the right about 20 yards and I'll stand in the middle, being sure to stay up on the ridge.
All right.
Catching with their pants down.
All right, and you do so, spread out without them noticing you. Archie and Raul both get into position, and you see these four. One of them finally just kind of is messing with the tangles in the net and just kind of throws the net down and is like, "Look, we got enough for today. Can't we just go?" And the other one's like, "If we're gonna make it to the Crossroads, we don't know how long we're gonna be waiting there yet. So no, we need more. We're feeding 8 men. Does this look like it can feed 8 men?" And he points down to the bucket of like 3 fish, and you see him kind of like crack his neck and pick up the rope and work on detangling it again. A couple of them are further in, and you see them just kind of looking, and they just seem to have been, how long have they been here? There's probably no fish in this area at this point, but they're just refusing to move, and they're just looking. They seem to be definitely giving up and low spirits, but they don't seem to be ready to leave yet.
What was that you said about feeding 8? I'm pretty sure you only got to worry about 4.
They all turn towards your voice. Are you making yourself visible, or yeah?
Yeah, I'm gonna step up.
Yeah, they look up and they're like, "What the hell are you doing out here?"
Rifle aim down line.
A couple of them you see don't have their gun belts on. They're sitting over closer to the shore. One of them, or the other two do, and one of them pulls a rifle and the other one pulls a pistol of some sort. They kind of like aren't sure if they need to be aiming at you. Like, they bring their guns up, but it's like this really questioning look on their faces, and they're like, "What the fuck is going on?"
I'll whistle. "Hey, friends, poke on out."
Raul kind of stands up, rifle aimed.
And Archie will sort of lean out from behind a tree. Sort of.
They kind of glance, and one of them's like, "The fuck is this?"
"Well, you boys tried to kill me after trying to waylay innocent travelers. So, the way I feel it is, this can go one of 2 ways. You let me borrow a horse, and I walk off. No harm, no foul. Or, I do to you what I did to all of them. Put a round right between your eyes. You're already outgunned.
He did do that.
You see them looking, they kind of glance to the two that don't have their gun belts, and fucking knew hiring a newbie this close to Sure. Take the horse.
That was easy. Not gonna be any thought of you following me and slitting my throat while I sleep now, is there?
Wouldn't dream of it.
That's good, I don't sleep anyway. Plus, I might have taken a few sticks of that there dynamite. And I will, still facing them, start to step back off the ridge, moving towards the horses.
All right. As you do so, Raul, still gun aimed at one of them that are holding a gun, sidestepping, basically, coming over in your direction once again.
Yeah, Archie will do the same.
Archie,
Probably
you
slip
seem
over or something.
you seem like the type who's probably got a pretty solid moral compass. Now,
Yes?
I reckon chances are about 50-50 that they leave us be. In fact, it's more probably like 70-30. They're probably gonna follow us and try and kill us while we sleep. What do you think? We give them the chance to prove me wrong, or do we fill them full of holes right now?
Ooh.
As you're asking this question, a gunshot echoes off.
There's that.
I suggest we kill them.
I think you may be onto something.
Okay, so what is Gideon's toughness?
5.
Perfect. Okay, so as you're asking this question, a gunshot fires off. You feel a bullet rip into your shoulder. It just kind of grazes you. You are injured, but you don't take a wound from this. It just grazes your shoulder. The impact kind of pushes your chest out a little bit. And at this, Raul grabs both of you and just hugs you down to the ground to use some of the hill for cover. And with this, we are going to draw some more action cards to see how this plays out.
Come on, Joker.
Right? All right, we have Archie.
Ooh, okay.
Gideon.
Suitable.
Queen of Diamonds, all right.
We have Raul.
Oof. Gideon on his lonesome here.
And the gang.
Oh.
All right, so Gideon
Okay.
is up first. Archie, did you want to use a Benny for that? Or are you leaving it?
No, yes, I think I will.
Okay.
I will. I'll cross one off. Yeah,
Okay,
that's a bit of
so
an improvement.
I think they will still go first, but just
I imagine
barely.
they would. I imagine they would.
All right, so Gideon.
As Raul moves to pull me down, I'm gonna use the momentum of getting shot, push my arm forward, and try and take a shot with the Winchester.
All
I'm gonna
right,
go for the bastard that pulled the trigger.
sweet.
And that's a D8 and a D6. That's a 7.
Okay, roll that damage.
I most certainly will. And that's 2D8. Five and a 4. That's 9.
All right, so as you're being pulled down, you fire this Winchester. The bullet almost does the same thing, just in the other arm for him. Slams into his arm. He's pushed backwards a little bit. You see him kind of take a couple steps in the river, and then he readies up his gun again. That is your turn, unless you want to use any movement. You can use another action. You're just at a penalty for doing so.
Yeah. I can use another action, though. I can fire again, potentially.
Yes.
Or-
Yeah, you can fire again. I believe it's a -2.
I'm gonna take another shot.
All right.
Well, that's an 8.
Okay, yeah, roll that
Minus
damage.
2, so that's 6. But I think that still succeeds. Nine.
Okay, you fire again. The bullet slams a little closer to his chest now, like into between his shoulder and his collarbone there, just slams in. You see him stumble back a little bit more, still just readying that rifle. So that shot hits his shoulder. He splashes back into more of the water, and then as you're all ducked down, we're gonna say that you have some partial cover by this hill here. So I'm gonna have a -2 for my shooting rolls for any of you. 2 of them are gonna rush up to their gun belts. They immediately begin pulling out their weapons, aiming them up. I will say each one of them are gonna aim for each one of you, and then just that second guy is just gonna aim at Gideon again. Makes the most sense.
Yeah.
All right, so first I will do we'll do an attack against Gideon. That first guy, the one that just took the bullet into his chest, raises up his rifle and fires. That was almost a critical fail, but not quite. So fires, you hear the bullet just slam into the dirt. Some dirt sprays up. He just completely misses. You see him just pulling back, readying for another shot. The 2 that ran up for their gun belts, they both pull at the same time. One fires at Archie. One fires at Archie, and it does slam into you. It goes like rips through your arm. You don't take any sort of actual wound for it or anything, but it just grazes through your arm, cuts. Blood is running down your arm right now. The impact does make you kind of slam down onto your side in surprise. The other one, this one pulls out some model weapon that just looks very expensive and definitely custom ordered, basically. Pulls this up, and he's firing towards Raul. As this gun comes up, you hear, as he pulls the trigger, it's like a 3-round burst. Just 3 bullets. One of them slams into the dirt. One of them slams into Raul's thigh, and the other one comes up and just grazes his ribs, and he kind of rolls and lands down on the ground as well. Luna, honey. She just kangaroo hopped away. So he slams down just as shocked that this happened, and he's readying his weapon. And then we have that lever pulled back. He's taking a couple steps forward, he's walking closer. And he pulls up the rifle to try and fire again at Gideon. Damn. Comes up, fires. This one would have hit you. You just kind of see him stepping up and just roll. And as soon as he fires, it slams into the dirt, just right where you were before. And he's just cursing and just pulling the lever back again. Archie, you are up.
Okay. He will take take aim as much as you can in the split second. So it's just like shooting swamp rats back home, and fire 5.
That'll do it.
Yes, the one that shot at him.
Okay.
Oh yes, you want damage, don't you? That's a 6 and a 1, so that makes 7.
Okay, none of those exploded, right?
Oh yeah, no, I got a max 6 on.
Okay, yeah, roll that again.
Oh, you do it with damage as well.
Damage explodes.
Damage
yeah.
as well. Goodness. It's just another 1, so 8.
So 8. Okay. All right. The bullet. The bullet actually hits his shooting hand, and as it does so, there's just this spray of blood, and he kind of lets go of the gun for a moment, You were shooting at the one that shot you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so let's go. You see he's still holding the rifle with the other hand, but he's not able to keep it steady with this one anymore. He brings it up and kind of puts it on his forearm to take aim.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you'd like to do?
Having done that, Archie would definitely get too excited and try and have another shot with the penalty, obviously. So is it -2? Did you say? Yes. Right. So, oh, that's exploded. Oh, 6, 7, 8 to hit.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yep.
And damage-wise, 6 total.
Okay.
Oh, -2. Yes.
Well, it was -2 to the attack.
All right. So that would have been. Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's the same guy, right? Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So he's putting his rifle on his forearm to aim at you. You fire again. It slams into his gut, and you see him take a step back, and his eyes are wide for a second as he's trying to steady his aim, but he's hurting. All right, and now with Raul's turn, you see Raul kind of like army crawl up towards the top of the hill. He sees the man that had stepped over, like up to the hill to try to fire at Gideon, and so as he's climbing up, nearly point blank, but not quite, he just puts the rifle like right up against him and is going to attempt to fire. No, that's not the right stats. That is, I need Raul's stats. Hold on. All right, so puts the rifle up and fires. You watch as the bullet slams through this man's calf. His shin just explodes, basically. He falls down to one knee, just screaming now in pain. And Raul's going to go ahead and with the penalty, pull back, reach up, and now that he's on his knees, try and go more for his head. Okay, so he falls down to his knees. He brings up the rifle, basically like right here, just brings up the rifle, pulls the trigger, and just skull and brain and just jaw everywhere, just flies out. It actually, unfortunately, sprays a little bit on Archie, from the locations that you're at. So, but the body does fall over. A gun falls down into the dirt. And that is Raul's go. Yeah. All right, so we have Archie.
Okay.
Gideon. Oh my god.
Hey. Another Joker.
The game's like, hey, you're new. Let's
Let's make it fun.
Raul.
Nice.
And the gang. Ooh.
I do.
Oof. Sucks to suck, guys.
Indeed. You know what? I'm gonna spend. Oh no, I spent my last Benny earlier, so never mind. I'm not gonna do that. Would you like to go first, or do you want to save it for an interruption?
No, I think Gideon wants to go ahead and
All right.
settle the score a little bit here. So I'm gonna take another shot at Mr. Gung Ho who's decided to step up over the hill.
That's the one that just got his brains just exploded out over. Yeah. So
Then,
we have the one more that had the gun already, and then we had the two that ran up to try to get the gun.
I think I'm gonna fire at that guy who somehow fired 3 shots. That's a little
Okay.
That's a little weird.
So yeah,
I'm
the
gonna
one over
shoot
to
at
the
that.
left. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a 4.
That will hit.
Awesome. That's 2d8. That's a double 8s.
That explodes. That's awesome.
So 16. That's 28 total.
Damn.
Good.
Sorry, 27. 27.
Oh, in that case.
That makes a difference. Yeah, so you see him look over. As he's preparing for another shot, you do see there's a lever that he clicks on the side of it, and you see some almost like gold liquid spin inside before he prepares to take this other shot. But before he can, a bullet just slams in just straight through his cheekbone, sprays out the back of his head, and he falls basically like he was going to move forward, and his momentum as this bullet slammed through his face fell to his knees and then fell backwards. So he's just laying, just gun still in his hand, dead on the ground.
I'm gonna go ahead and press this advantage and fire upon the last remaining fool.
Sure.
That's a -2. Ooh, that's not good. Can I spend a Benny to make that better?
Yes.
Try again.
Yep, just re-roll.
All right, well, I'll take the 7.
Okay, yeah, that'll do it.
And that's 7 points of damage as well.
Okay. So there are still 2 up currently.
Right. That's right.
Yeah, one of them's really hurt though. Had been hit in the stomach. This one that you just shot fired into his chest, and you can see his eyes widen, and he has a little bit of blood just coming from like the corner of his mouth, and barely still standing up. He's raising up his gun, and now it is Archie and Raul's turn. What is Archie wanting to do?
Okay. If the guy who shot him initially is still standing, he will continue to fire in that direction.
Okay.
4 is the highest on that one.
That hits.
Oh, okay. So that is 5 damage.
Okay.
In total.
Yeah, you're just filling this guy with bullets. Another one slams into nearly the same spot. You found aiming for the torso definitely helps, and you're just hit like square in the center, and his eyes are wide. He's actually stepping back. You see blood just being carried downstream from his body as he's just standing now in the river. He is still standing.
Archie would just keep pulling until it's -2. Oh, that exploded. So
Okay.
it's 6, 12. 16 -2 is 14 to hit.
So I'm pretty sure you get to add. I'm not sure if the damage dice continues, so we'll say 1 extra damage die to
Okay,
your.
so effectively
damage.
3d6.
Yeah.
3. Okay. That is 10.
Okay. All right, so finally, just being hit with bullet after bullet after bullet, you finally like pop up just a little bit more to get a better look, and you aim down the sights and you fire, and this one hits like right in the neck. And as it does, he like stiffens and his head kind of falls back, and he just falls over, and is it's not a heavy enough current to actually carry his body too far, but he just flumps over, and you just see him floating there, blood just floating downstream. And that is your turn, Raul.
Yes.
Raul will pop up and go ahead and fire at the one remaining member now, pretty wounded from the chest wound already. I cannot roll today. I don't have any bennies left to use. So, so Raul pops up, fires. The guy had just seen his buddy die and just float beside him. So he actually walks over, and for a moment, you think he's checking on the guy, but he actually turns him and is using him for partial cover. The bullet slams into the dead friend instead of him as he's using him for cover. That is his turn. And now, using his friend for cover, he brings up his rifle, or he brings up his, he has a shotgun, pushing the body closest to shore as he can to get just a little bit closer. You see he glances, looks at his shotgun, tosses it down, and he climbs up onto shore. You are unable to see over the hill while you're here taking cover. You see him climb to where you can't see him anymore, and you just hear him rummaging through something. And start this next round.
If I get a Joker a third time, I'm gonna go play the lottery. Since there's only 2 per deck, that would be particularly impressive.
Archie.
Okay.
Gideon.
Oof.
Raul. And the one remaining member.
Now, can I spend a Benny?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. I would like to do that. That was a pretty bad roll.
All right.
I have a bad feeling if I go last, I'm going to be eating some dynamite.
Your new card?
Ugh, it's not much better.
All right. Anyone else spending any bennies?
Can you do like back-to-back Can I just sit here and burn through them until I get what I want?
If you would like.
I kind of really don't want to go last. I'm going to spend one more.
Another.
Oh, it's worse. Oh, no. I have one more. I'm spending it.
He's all in.
I'm committed.
He's sliding those chips across the table.
I am committed. What is that? What's that
Same.
number? Oh my god. All right, that's fine. Gideon was fun for a little while. This is fine.
2 5s and then 2 4s.
Yeah.
Oh man!
I can't remember.
All right.
What did I get? I can't remember what I
You
got.
got a 5.
Oh.
Oh.
I should have just kept with the 5. Oh well.
You want to spend a penny?
Yeah, I'll spend a penny.
All right.
Spend a penny. Spend a penny. If I do apologize if I get a joker or something. Yeah.
Is it worse? I can't see. What is it?
It's the same.
Oh my god.
It's the
We're
5.
just throwing away resources here.
Yeah.
These are at the bottom of my deck. I swear.
Just drawn from the same pile. It's like, wait, what were those suits? There are a lot of diamonds.
Okay.
Well, right. Do you want to spin another one, or
No, that's
okay.
fine. It'll
Don't follow my example. You'll get a 2. Yeah.
Okay. So, ducked back under this hill, you hear just the ripping of just tearing into some kind of bag, and then you hear just the 3 of you sitting there. You see landing right by you a stick of lit dynamite. And then you see this man take off and dive into the river.
Oh my goodness.
Raul is up next. I'm gonna roll a d6. If I roll 1, 2, or 3, he's gonna try to grab it and chuck it
Yeah,
to the river.
that's what I was gonna do.
If I roll a 4, 5, or 6, he's gonna run.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, okay.
That's also what I was thinking about doing.
Okay, he's running. He just sees it and he just immediately takes off in the opposite direction, away from the river, just sprinting, just like you've never seen him move so fast, Archie. So he is sprinting and now it is Archie's turn.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh. What would he do? Would he think about it? I kind of want to see if I can pull the fuse out.
Okay.
Oh shit.
Okay, so you reach down, you grab onto the stick of dynamite. What do I want to have you roll here?
Let's see.
What do you? It was either that or run, and
Yeah. Is it weird that almost feels like guts? like almost.
Yeah. Man. Okay, I will ask you this. Are you trying to grab this stick of dynamite and meticulously pull this fuse out? Or are you just grabbing it and yanking the fuse out?
second one.
All right, then I will just say make a strength roll.
Okay. Do I still get the D6, don't I?
Yes, yeah.
Thank goodness for that. Right, come on, dice. Rolled a 3. It's my highest.
Oof. Do you have any more bennies?
Oh, I do have a Benny. Thank you.
So you might want to use that.
Yeah, now or never.
Was that-
You have an explosive in your hand.
Was that the last Benny?
Yes,
Okay.
that's my last one. Oh, that's... 3 is still the highest.
Oh no.
Thank you, dice.
All right, so you're holding onto it. You grab
Priority.
you grab it and you're pulling and it's just not coming out.
Oh,
I will let you try to drop it and run if you'd like.
yes.
Okay, go ahead
Yeah.
and just roll a d6 for me.
Okay. I'm not gonna roll you again. 4.
Okay. So yeah, you just drop it and take off.
Could I fling it slightly?
I'll say probably.
Well, we're on a ridge. Oh, is that
Yeah,
right?
you kind
We're
of
on a
drop
ridge.
it towards the hill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Gideon.
Sorry, pal. I tried.
I will say, with your knowledge of dynamite and your knowledge of these people, if he ran over to his bag and grabbed a stick of dynamite, there is more dynamite in that bag. Where the stick is now beginning to roll downhill towards.
That sounds fun. You said the stick's already rolling downhill at this point.
It's like a slow roll right now. If you leave it, it will roll down the hill. Yeah.
I'm just gonna pull my signature move and I'm gonna go ahead and grab that bastard's body and just tuck myself under it and just take shelter because, you know, it worked once, it's gotta work again.
Okay. So in this case, Raul sprinting, Archie sprinting, Gideon dropping down to the ground, grabbing a body, pulling it over. The dynamite is beginning to roll, and you hear it explode, like maybe halfway down. Explodes. You hear the spray of like things just slapping into the water. You hear the sound of dirt and rock just flying up. You feel dirt and rock slamming into the body that is on top of you. And there's one moment of silence before you hear more explosions just firing upward. It is just raining dirt and mud and rock at this point from all of these sticks of dynamite just exploding up. You hear things just splashing into the water. You actually hear the shouting of the man that had dove into the water and was swimming away, just yelling like, "Oh fuck!" as this is just getting further away. I will say the only two in danger of actually taking any damage would be Gideon and Archie. Archie was able to get a little ways away, but with all of this, it's just all flying outward. So I'm just gonna roll damage and see if it's enough to even harm either of you.
Okay.
What are your toughness?
5.
5 as well.
Okay. Okay, so with these explosions, I'm kind of having the amount of damage that would have been taken from this for Archie, and then I'm kind of taking a fourth of it away from Gideon for the body.
Yeah.
I hid under a meat water balloon, that's fine.
Yeah, so you're both gonna take enough points to acquire 1 wound. You don't have any bennies to soak wounds with right now, so you will just have 1 wound. Archie, you are pushed forward and you actually fall onto your hands and knees from this blast as you just land down. Most of the body on top of you is gone once these explosions stop. You're like holding on to 2 wrists and you just kind of throw them to each side of you. Once the explosions stop, though, Raul turns around, just breathing heavily, and he sees you, Archie, and then he sees a just puddle of blood and body. And he's just like, "Oh no!" And he starts running back, and he just looks at Archie, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And then he's just looking like mournfully over at where Gideon was, like he thinks we lost Gideon.
I'm gonna shoot up. Would I have been able to hear that rat bastard say, "Oh fuck," as he swims away? I'm gonna shoot up and I'm gonna plug that motherfucker as he runs away.
Make a notice roll.
Notice roll. Oh, I'm not good at those, but that's all right. Hell yeah, I rolled a 4.
Okay. You see him. He has made it to the other side of the river at this point. It's pretty far, but you can attempt a shot if you'd like. I'd say you'd be probably at a -4.
I mean, I gotta try, right?
Yeah.
Worth a shot, and that's worth a shot.
Yeah, I gotta give it a shot.
Roll it again.
That's 11 total, minus
Okay.
4.
Okay. Roll damage.
That's 2 6s.
Keep going. This game likes you.
I'm waiting for it. It's gonna come back in spades soon. That's 19.
Okay. So you see he made it to the other side. He's dripping wet. He stands up and he glances back, sees you just aiming down your sights at him, and he panics for a moment and rushes to go like jump behind a tree. As he's rushing, you fire off this shot and it just slams into him, and you see him slam into the tree and then just slowly slide down, and he doesn't move from there. Yeah, so Archie, you see, Gideon pop up covered in blood again, and just pops up, looks like he's on a mission, and just turns and fires, and then turns back around towards the two of you.
Archie would lean to Raul and go, do you suppose he's undead or something now? I mean, all that blood.
At this point, and he just shrugs.
What?
You shot him dead, it looks like. No,
Yeah,
no.
you're having a hard time.
What?
Go ahead and also, Gideon, roll a d6, or roll 2d6 for me and tell me the total.
Sure. That's 4.
Okay, so you're discovering as your ears are ringing and
Oh.
as you are turning back towards them, you're definitely deaf out of at least one ear.
Oh no.
One ear is ringing, but you don't really hear the ringing in the other one. You're also having a really hard time moving your left arm.
All right. Well,
You're not sure. You don't see any, there's blood everywhere, but you don't think you have any flesh wounds necessarily. But you feel like something's definitely out of place or torn in your shoulder.
I'll step towards my new compatriots. Did you say something?
Good shot. Pew.
Thumbs up, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Are you okay?
No. I think I might be partially deaf.
Ooh.
And can't really lift my left arm no more, so that's probably not good. Good thing I'm right-handed.
Oh. Phew.
Raul is walking off to go get the horses that are tied to the posts.
Oh, thank goodness they're still there.
Yeah.
Vaporized as well.
they're far enough away. Yeah, he grabs onto the horses and he starts kind of leading them over.
Is there any? Could I make any kind of rolls? Kind of try and. I don't have medicine per se, but just try and sort of figure out what he's done to himself.
I would say that would be. You can make a healing roll. Well, if you're not trying to actually patch him up or anything, I'd say you can make a smarts roll to see if you can tell what's going on.
Because I don't want to just start putting in a sling, and it's just there's nothing to do with that.
Let me just pop it back into place.
Yeah. It wasn't out of place. Is that right? D10. Yes. Oh, and a 6. No, I'm not using you anymore. You're naughty. Oh, fudge. 2 2s.
All right.
Those eddies would sure be good right about now, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
2 and a D10.
You have no idea. He could even have more injuries on him, and you wouldn't know because he's just covered in many different people's blood. So at this point, you don't know what's his.
No.
Yeah, you have no idea.
I would very much like to go try and find that gun.
Okay, I'm gonna make a roll to see if it still exists.
Yeah, fair.
All right, so you kind of slide down the hill. It's still mostly intact. Not quite functional, but as you grab onto this, both of you make a common knowledge roll.
Ooh, what is that?
It's at the top of your skills. It's the second one down. should be.
Yeah, I don't have common knowledge.
Right.
Oh, which just means that it's just straight, right? No
Well,
bonuses.
everyone should have it, so it'll just be a D4.
Okay.
No penalties or anything.
Gotcha.
I got a 4. I got 2. Well, I got 2 4s. But...
I got a 2.
Okay. As you're holding it, you have no idea what this is, but Archie kind of looks over. You still don't know what it is necessarily, but the material that looks to be on the inside of this cylinder, it's like a cylinder tube at the base of the gun. If you had to guess, it looks like it's some form of like liquid ghost rock.
Ooh.
And at that, Raul seems pretty interested, and he kind of snatches it from you. Like, he doesn't mean to be like, give me that, but he just gets excited and just takes it from you and is looking at it. And he says, man, I wish I could get this to function again. And he's just looking it over. Mind if I try? I'll take it with us.
I mean, I kind of am half deaf.
Yeah, you didn't hear a thing that he said.
I feel like maybe you need to speak up, but I'm guessing from the fact that you're holding that what's-it, that you want it. Thumbs up or down?
I think he just wants to fix it.
What?
Fix it.
If you fix it, I want it.
Can you have it back? No. Once you fixed it,
He holds his hand out, like, to shake your hand.
Yeah.
I'll shake his hand.
Yeah. And then he puts it in his pocket, or in his little bag that he has. You head over to the horses. You now have five horses, technically. Are you just leaving a couple of them here, or you want to see if you can bring them with you?
What do you think there, medicine man? You seem pretty clever.
Oh, thank you. I mean, there's nothing left to salvage from the debris, is it? It's vaporized, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need a pack animal, so to speak.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I mean, I'm not familiar with living in the wilderness, particularly. Is it customary to take a spare animal?
I mean, it kind of depends on what you're planning to get into. Frankly, they could be worth some money, but we also gotta make sure we keep them fed, watered, which
Yes. may
be a problem. You're also gonna make a lot more noise traveling with 5 horses than with 3.
I would imagine it would slow us down somewhat as well.
Probably.
At this point, too, Raul is kind of looking over these horses, and he's kind of looking in the saddlebags from various horses, and he pulls something out, and you see it's some sort of piece of paper, and you see him sitting there kind of reading through it for a moment. And as he looks up to Gideon for a second, and he says, "You weren't lying when you said you didn't know what you were hired for, right?"
I'm gonna turn my head slightly to the right.
With this, he just turns the paper around and just shoves it towards you for you to read. This is basically your work order. You haven't seen it before, but this is talking about bringing the dynamite to the Crossroads, waiting for the train, and following the train to St. Louis to clean up the rest.
Well, I mean, I knew I was supposed to go to St. Louis, but I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing.
And he kind of pulls the paper back and he's looking at it for a second, and then he goes like he's gonna talk to you, and then he just turns to Archie instead because he knows you're probably not gonna hear him. And
I turned to the right anyway.
yeah. And he just says, "Were they gonna blow up St. Louis?"
Surely not.
I mean, that would take a lot, right?
Yes,
Take
that's much
more than a cart.
Surely that's crazy talk, isn't it? I mean,
Why?
Man, he's looking at the work order again, and it's just very short sentences.
Clean up the mess. What? He want me to kill them people?
Were you aware of meeting up with any other groups? Were there more groups than this one?
Not that I'm aware of. I knew there was 8 of us, but I didn't. Now I'm not so sure. Maybe there's a few groups. There's no way that one cart of dynamite's gonna take out a whole city, whole town. No way.
No.
Maybe there's more. What's on the train?
Lord.
Maybe we need to go stop a train.
Maybe there's something on the train that.
I mean, I don't necessarily consider myself a moral man, but I don't know that I'm much obliged to sit back and just watch a disaster of this level happen.
Certainly not. No. I mean, it seems to me there's only one way to find out, and that's to find out. Sorry, I said to find out.
Yeah, I'm figuring out that this is the good ear. Yeah.
Okay.
At this point, Raul looks like he's just sitting and thinking, and he says, I think I need to head back. I think I'll head back to where we came from, and I'll see if I can send some sort of telegraph to St. Louis. Just some sort of warning. We don't know what is happening yet, but some sort of warning. Maybe watching train. I don't even know what to tell them to look for, but
you have there'll be a schedule of what trains running certain times. Maybe you could find out what was on this particular train. I mean, or where.
Yeah, maybe. And then maybe the two of you should keep going, or if one of you wanted to come with me. I feel like the more hands on this train situation, the better. I
agree.
Someone needs to tell. Someone needs to warn them. I don't know what we're warning them, but
well, that's very upstanding of you.
I mean, maybe Roan will be feeling a little bit better, and
yes,
he can come help too.
Oh, please. Yes. I mean, I would offer, but I'd be worried I'd get lost, and then I'd be no help. And this fella, he's got a bum arm. Is that what you Americans say? So he would need help. I guess. Yes.
I guess that's a
That's,
good point too.
Pretty admirable of you, if I don't say. I'm gonna ride on. I reckon I can probably catch a train.
Good luck.
Yeah, you too.
And
I'll,
Archie would sort of go to shake Raoul's hand and have a really awkward sort of like half hug, sort of.
Yeah,
pat on
like
the
this,
back,
like,
sort of.
are we?
Yeah,
okay,
that's the one. Yeah.
Yeah. And he kind of tips his hat and walks over. You want me to take the spare horses off your hands?
I won't need them.
All right, so he kind of gets some rope, has a hold of those, mounts his horse, and he begins riding off back in the direction that you came from. The other horses following, and now it's just the two of you there with your two horses.
I'm gonna hop in the saddle and pat my horse on the cheek and say, "Your name is Joker 3. Don't ask about the other two."
All right.
And Archie would quickly sort of awkwardly get onto his horse and try and catch up as quickly as possible.
All right, and we're just carrying on.
Yes.
With great haste.
All right. Moving quickly now towards the south. You're not sure how far you are from these crossroads, but it is starting to get dark. Evening is approaching. Are we riding on through the night, or are we wanting to set up some sort of camp?
Do I recall if there was intention to wait for a long period of time at the crossroads?
You were told that you would, once you reach the crossroads, that you would wait for the train and you would know when it passes. You weren't told an amount of time or anything like that.
I personally think that perhaps it would be best to rest once we reach the crossroads.
I agree. Because at least we're there. It'd be awful if we missed it.
Yeah, it'd be a bit of a problem, I suspect.
All right, so you are traveling on through the night, various speeds, just to give the horses a little break now and then. And you are riding through the entirety of the night. You see the sunrise peeking up over the horizon. You are exhausted. The horses are tired. You've stopped a few times. But every time you stop, you're thinking, what if we're almost there? Like, we can't stop. And you keep going. And it's morning, but it's getting darker as the storm clouds are well above you now. And you hear the rumbling of the thunder. Just rushing down the trail until you come up over a hill and you see some sort of small structure at the bottom of this hill. And it seems to be placed in the center of a railroad crossing and a dirt road crossing. It seems to be kind of off to the side of the railroad crossings, sort of like a small station of sorts. Go ahead and make a notice roll for me.
also a 5.
All right. As you're coming up to these crossroads, you glance down and you see, you're not quite sure, some movement inside the building. Somebody walking past one of the windows. You're still at the top of the hill. How would you like to approach?
What do you think, friend?
I mean, does the building look like it should be there?
Yes.
Something. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it looks like it should be there.
Okay.
And you're feeling thick raindrops. Just occasionally, just one on your face. A couple of minutes later, one on your arm. It's gonna start pouring.
Now there's somebody obviously in there, and I assume it's customary for people to be coming to little stations. We could try and just sort of act as if we're normal travelers, just sort of. I'm very new to this subterfuge thingy, but I mean, just go in there, sort of say, oh, we had a little bit of an accident. My friend's cut himself. Or some such thing. Could we use a telephonium or telegram, or something? Just see what happens. I mean, you could be ready with your. Well, that's the point. I've only got 2 shots left in my gun. I don't suppose you've got a couple of spare ones? Is that something one should ask?
Yeah. GM, do I have spare energy?
I'll say yeah. Yeah, you can reach in. And you would have enough to fill your gun, and then we'll say you have 6 more after that.
Ooh.
Also.
Well, 6 rounds is better than 2.
Yes, certainly. I'd hate to be let the side down.
Why don't you do me a favor, though? I'm gonna have you stand on my left side. I can't do as much, and it would help me to have an active arm on my left, just in case things get a little nasty in there.
I am your servant.
Now here's an idea. I have a little bit of a history hunting gentlemen down. It's what I do. I've walked into situations like this before. Typically, they don't go so well for the man walking in the door. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna step in there all nice and friendly, like just like you said. I think that was a very good idea. But you're gonna stand slightly behind me, hand on your gun. Does that sound all right?
Perfectly.
I figure I've taken a few licks today. I can take a few more if need be. But best one of us is prepared.
Listen, I am at your disposal.
No. Not at my disposal. You
you
killed
know
a
what
few
I
of
mean.
them bastards back there yourself.
Well,
You're gonna do your part. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so you start riding down in that direction?
Yeah.
All right, you start heading that way. Walking down this hill, the horses trotting. You're not trying to hide your approach. You're just stepping up towards the building. And as the storm clouds rumble above you, and you see a little flash of lightning in the distance, how close do you get before you get off of your horses?
I mean, if we're playing normal, we might as well just ride right on up, hitch our horses, and get off.
Yeah.
All right, so you ride up, hop off your horses, and you begin tying them to the post. You see a pretty decent, almost like not quite a stable, but you see a pretty decent awning with a sort of half wall all the way around the side of the building where you're able to put your horses. You step off and you begin putting your horses there, and then you head over to the door. You grab onto the door handle,